It's the biggest heist since the Mona Lisa was stolen 114 years ago. Priceless jewels taken from the world's most famous museum, the Louvre, all in broad daylight. Gone in 7 minutes. So how did they do it? That's what we want to know. Chris Marinello, a lawyer turned art detective, is with me. Chris, I have seen Oceans 11, 12 and 13, 8 too. It has to be an inside job, surely.
Well, that's the first thing that investigators usually look into, whether there was any inside connection, any perhaps assistance here. But this looks to be a very well-planned heist. And it's certainly not anything that was in the Pink Panther films of years ago. We have a very successful police force working on this, and we also have some very clever thieves.
So the Louvre in Paris, nearly 30,000 visitors each day. I mean, you are the Sherlock Holmes of the art world, the man they call when masterpieces go missing. How did they do it?
Well, they were extremely clever. They chose a place in the Louvre where there was construction going on, and people just assumed that, well, these folks must be part of the construction team, which is a major red flag. Is I've never seen anybody work on a Sunday in France, to be honest with you. But aside from that, they just walked, right up to the window and with a forklift and managed to get a ladder up there, and in 4 to 7 minutes they were gone. And they had a scooter ready to go, which is what you need to get through Parisian traffic. And the heist was done.
So high-vis, getaway scooters, all done in 7 minutes. This is so embarrassing for the museum.
Unfortunately, it is really embarrassing. And I know that there are at least 60 investigators in Paris working on this right now, and some very heavy pressure for the police.
So the jewellery that's been taken, some belonging to the late Queen of France, some back to Napoleon and his empress, they're irreplaceable. Why weren't they better protected?
Well, that's a good question. We've been seeing in the old days, we would have art thefts, paintings, sculptures stolen, or even jewelry stolen. And then a few days or weeks later, I would get a phone call, or somebody would get a call saying, I know where these are, what's the reward, or I will give them back if you pay me, £1 million. Ransoms, reward demands, things like that would happen. Nowadays, we're seeing gangs operating and immediately breaking up the pieces that they're stealing. We saw this at the Blenheim Palace theft in the UK, where they stole the famous golden toilet, the solid gold toilet. They were breaking it up as they were leaving Blenheim Palace, only to melt it down, never to be seen again. So I'm fearful to say that these pieces might be already gone or being broken up as we speak.
OK, because, I mean, we heard the French president say that those responsible will be caught and the jewels will be returned. From what you're saying, you don't reckon we're going to see him again?
Well, look, the criminals are trying right now desperately to hide evidence of their crime. And how do they do that? Not by burying them or putting them under a bed, but by breaking them up and dispersing them and cashing out on what they've stolen. That's what they're trying to do right now.
So do you think this is purely about the money? Because if you go back to 1911 when the Mona Lisa was stolen, that was politically motivated.
This is clearly about the money. These gangs are operating right now. Most of them come from Eastern Europe. They're all over Europe right now. Europe has a serious problem with jewelry thieves hitting museums all over. And it's a wake-up call, because if you can hit the Louvre, you can hit anything.
But you know what, Chris? They've underestimated you, because you have been threatened by mobsters. You have negotiated with criminals and governments. I mean, you're the man, right?
I mean, I have recovered jewelry. I have recovered tiaras. I recover a lot of stolen rare timepieces and things like that. But those pieces need to be kept intact. I mean, the thieves are too stupid to know that the real importance is in keeping the pieces intact. So they just won't. They don't care about that. They don't care about the history. They don't care about the cultural importance to the Louvre and to everyone who loves those types of pieces. So all they care about is money, and all they're going to do is break them up, sell the jewels so they can buy a Lamborghini or drugs. And that's a real crime.
OK. Well, you know what? I reckon the head of security at the Louvre might be looking for another job, and there is definitely a Hollywood movie in this. Thank you so much, Chris. Appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And let's hope that they're not doing anything Chris just suggested and that those jewels are found intact. We'll see.